Raider.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Hey,
Hey,
what's happening, man?
too much.
What's been happening with you?
Too much.
Anything you wanna speak to the crowd about?
I'd just like to let you know that I still have in my heart Inter Milan, and I would like to go back one day. In my
No,
prime.
rewind. No, we're not even there yet. We're not even there yet. Something happened that I think you should reveal to our wonderful audience,
Sorry.
our avid listeners. That happened to you personally
No,
in the recent present
no,
past.
no. I'm Batman. This is my secret. I keep
Okay, yeah. You sure you don't want to say anything? Is it gonna incriminate you or something, or
Yeah, definitely.
how?
I have reasons.
I think they probably know what you're talking about by now.
I don't know.
All right, I don't know either. Yeah, we're pretty shit at the moment.
I think we're okay.
Things aren't going to plan.
I think we're okay because we're the N'Golo Kante team, aren't we? And N'Golo Kante plays really well.
I think the wheels are falling off slightly. I think we need. Who was at the wheel at Man United? He drove them really well. Fuck you. Who was that bloke? I can't remember, man.
Someone who used to say, like, famously said, "My precious." Can't remember.
All right, so yeah, Chelsea at the moment not the best place to be. I'm sure Cobham is probably not the happiest place to be. We spoke about the Leeds win. We won 3-2. We were leaking goals, and we weren't performing to our full potential. We were leaking goals, which was obviously which was out of character. It's not something we're used to. And it seems now we can't keep a clean sheet to save our lives. We can't buy a clean sheet to save our lives. So, we talked about that, obviously. Since that game, we've drawn a couple games against Wolves and Everton, which I think, it comes back to the same argument of, are we doing enough? As
Brighton too. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Brighton was the other day, yeah. But just generally, like, our general feeling right now about Chelsea is that we are not finishing our chances. We're leaking goals, and it's really affecting us. And the fact that we're only 6 points behind Man City probably shows that we did a really good job at the start of the season to get where we are. We've had injuries and we've had COVID, and I've not had COVID. Have you had COVID?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I choose not to speak. If I speak, I am in trouble.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to throw that in there, little curveball. But yeah, I mean, it's not been an easy ride the last couple of months since the international break. The last one, we've had injuries to our strikers, Lukaku and Werner, and then Kovacic had an injury, and Kante had an injury, Jorginho. Then they got COVID, all of them. Havertz has been out. It's been really, turbulent, and I think, despite everything, I think we've still not. It's not gone balls up. I think it could have been a lot worse, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Do you want to speak more to?
I think as you said, just finishing. Why is it? It's so frustrating. We've had this issue so many times. We've bought more attacking players. We've got such a vast choice of attacking players, but we're just not able to finish. And it's more frustrating because we have so many games, and COVID hits, and there's just fatigue, and it's difficult. It's so difficult to have the options.
Yeah.
What are you laughing about?
Nothing. You said COVID hits. It didn't hit me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Did it hit you?
It could have hit you.
No, did it hit you?
It could have hit you.
It could have.
It could have.
Did it hit you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. I'm just gonna swerve that every time. Okay, cool. That's fine. Yeah, it's been a tough time, and like I said, despite everything, it could have been a lot worse. But turn of the new year, maybe it can be a new start, a fresh start for everyone. We're getting players back now. Kante, even with one leg, is useful.
Kante has played so well in the games. Like, it's ridiculous how good he looks.
Yeah,
just does everything.
I feel like he never did get the credit he deserved as a footballer for his technique.
Okay.
But when you watch him now, like he looks like a completely different player now. Like he's not looking like N'Golo Kante. Like he's looking like a super version of that.
Yeah.
Like his touches, is the way he's driving with the ball forward. I think it's what Sarri wanted out of him, like to be that sort of box to box midfielder that could, take the ball forward and also run back and make tackles, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's good to see. I'm slowly destroying your desk, and I'm not sorry. And are you angry?
There's that meme of that cat that looks really angry.
If you saw his face right now, he wants to tear me apart. Yeah, man. It's just a desk. I'm more valuable than your desk.
No comment.
All right, moving on. So yeah, we're getting our players back. I don't think it's as bad as it feels.
It is bad. It is really bad.
Because we're 6 points behind Man City. We're level. We're a point above Liverpool.
We get players that are coming back, and then they get COVID, and then we get other players that are injured. So it's just a cycle now.
Right. That's not in our control, though.
It's not in our control, but it feels.
What
bad.
is in our control is that we're not finishing our chances. Like I think we said it on the last one. If City and Liverpool had the chances we had, they'd be winning games 5-6-0 easily.
I don't know. Liverpool aren't winning. They're not doing as well now.
Well, they lost one game. They've been winning every other game.
They haven't looked as strong though. I think that it's not just been one game which they've lost. A couple of games as well. They've also drawn.
Let's talk generally. I mean, if Liverpool had the chances we had, they're putting them away. Salah, Firmino, Jota, Mane, they're all putting those chances away.
Salah had that penalty.
Okay, you're talking about one game. I'm talking about general, like every single game. Our attackers are coming with 2-3 chances per game. Mason, Callum, Lukaku, Ziyech, all these guys, they're all getting chances to score.
What I want to say is, I think City aren't as affected by fatigue because a lot of their players are still available. I think Liverpool
City are doing what they're doing without a striker, and I think you have to give it to them that they have been the best team in the Premier League so far this season, for sure. They may have not started strong, and they may have had a few results that go here and there. I think the Palace one was one that everyone looked at and thought that they might not end the season with the lead, but since then they've bounced back and they've looked like a league-winning team. They look better than we do. They're finishing their chances. They're creating their chances. They're keeping clean sheets. They're defending well. Like they're the ultimate team right now, and they do. Again, I have to say, they're doing it without a striker. That's never been done. I can't remember the last time a side has won the Premier League without a striker. Even Firmino, on some level, he was a false 9, which is a false striker. So you have to give it to them. They're doing really well. I said it on the last one. I don't think Liverpool and City will let us back into the Premier League because I think we've got Liverpool on Sunday and we've got City next week. And I think those two games, as crucial as they are, I don't think those are the games that will determine whether we win the league or not. And I think further along the line, when the Champions League kicks in, when the cup games, start to mount up, it is going to be difficult for us. We're also going to the Club World Cup. There's going to be a lot of travel. So, all these factors are determining, I think, and for me, my money is on City to win the league.
Yeah.
So, what's your opinion on that?
I think they would. They just have... Well, I think it's just Pep's tactics. Everything is just set up that they don't need a striker. They're so lethal. They're so lethal in attack. That was that game where they won 6-3 against... Who was it? Who was it against? They played Leicester. And they just dominated, even if they let through 3 goals. They're just that good. They're that good.
Yeah. While they're not experiencing any problems, we've obviously had on-field issues, but I mean, in the last 24 hours, we've had an off-field issue relating to our striker, Romelu Lukaku, who we signed for £100 million last summer. He's come out. Unfortunately, it's a really bad time because it's come in the midst of... I mean, there's never a good time for it, but it's come in the midst of a week where we're playing the 2 top teams in England and we've got Spurs on the way in a cup. It's going to be a really, season-defining month for us, I think, because we're in the FA Cup, we're in the League Cup, we're in the Premier League race. Then we've got the Club World Cup coming up. And he's basically come out and said that he's not happy with his situation at Chelsea. He's not happy with the system that Thomas Tuchel has deployed, sort of implying that it doesn't suit him and it's working against his strengths. So, he disagrees with that. So obviously he's not been picked a few times. He had the injury, but then he had COVID. I think Tuchel sort of used that as the reason for him not getting as many minutes as he may have liked. For me, it's never a good time to have these interviews. I don't think what he said was ridiculous or over the top. I think just a lot will be made out of it because he is who he is. So yeah, I mean, what's your thoughts on the whole thing? Because it's a hot topic right now, and it could potentially disrupt our season. So yeah, what do you think of it?
It's always tricky, isn't it, with interviews and giving out information to the public about your personal thoughts and approaches towards where you are at your club and where you'd like to go back to. So I think it's not good. It's not good what's happened. And even Tuchel said that the club aren't happy about it, which I think was the perfect thing to say, and not just put it aside. And
I always wonder. I always wonder when players give these interviews, what their actual motive is. What are they trying to achieve by doing it public, rather than going behind the scenes and talking to Tuchel himself or the coaches, the staff, and just basically telling them how he feels and what he thinks can be done, should be done, and sort of resolving it in that way. Sometimes I wonder if it's something that a player does to want to get an improved contract, or to get a transfer away, or to put pressure on the manager to play him, because naturally he's a world class striker. He's one of the best centre forwards on the planet. He's going to want to play every single game, every single minute that he's fit for. So what he's trying to achieve by going public, I really don't get it, because his ability can do his talking for him. He doesn't need to do an interview to get minutes. He's Romelu Lukaku. Like, it's that simple. So what do you think he's trying to achieve by going public with it?
I think that he was trying to address all of the negativity that was brought about by the Inter Milan fans when he left for Chelsea in the summer. I don't think that this has anything to do with his current situation with Chelsea, because I still believe that he has a lot of desire to be here at Chelsea right now playing for us, and he's not planning to move in the coming summer or anything. I think he's just trying to address something that's happened in the past. But obviously, it's either he's not said it correctly, or it's some people have said that it's translated horribly. So I think that if there was an issue, I think he's smart enough to go and address it with Tuchel himself or the Chelsea board, whoever.
I'll read out some quotes and tell me how you feel about it after I read them. Yeah. So he goes, this is to Sky Italy. Tuchel and I are trying to find a tactical system where we can find each other, but the situation is a bit complicated with regards to where Chelsea are in the table. He made his choice. I keep working. At a certain point, I'll speak with Tuchel and see the situation. So he's talking about, obviously, Tuchel leaving him out. In his presses, Tuchel was saying that it's down to him coming up to speed with matches after getting COVID and also suffering the injury that he did, the ankle injury. So that was one part of it, is that he was saying trying to find a system where it complements both of them, right? The second part was he's obviously he's talking about Inter. The interview is Sky Italy, so he's talking from an Italian perspective, talking about the team that he was formerly with, which was Inter Milan, current champions of Italy. And his quote was, "I'm always thinking about Milano, Milano, Milano. Inter fans are the best in the world. I love the city, and the best moment of my career was at Inter. I'm in love with Italy. I have Inter in my heart." Now, straight off the bat, if a club has invested £100 million into you, if you've come out and said that you are Chelsea from birth, or you supported Chelsea as a kid, whatever, you're excited and you're motivated and you're determined to be successful at Chelsea. I mean, 4 to 5 months down the line, you then sort of alienate a segment of Chelsea fans by saying things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, firstly, is it needed? Because you've just started at Chelsea. You're not at the end of your contract with Chelsea where you're looking for a move back to Inter or to another club or whatever. You're bang in the middle of, trying to be a success at Chelsea, trying to, finish unfinished business. So, what is it that goes through a player's head when they say things like that, when they know clearly, firstly, we're not in he gave this interview a few weeks ago, so we weren't in the best of form. We weren't in, a good, a brilliant place. We did need a lot of harmony and peace within the squad to take us through a really tough time. He knew that. He's a senior player. He's been captain for Belgium. He's a respected figure among his peers. So what do you make of these quotes that he's put out now?
It just seems to me very, very off from the type of character that I've learned that he is, based on the sort of comments he'd make in summer, where he was here to give a sort of leadership role and sort of drive Chelsea to the top. So if that is his truthful, if that's his truth, and if that's expressed exactly as how he's if that's translated exactly as how he said it, then that's disappointing.
Yeah,
that's nothing. That's such a change compared to where he was a few months ago in the summer period when he just joined Chelsea.
Yeah.
But as I said, I've heard that this has been taken out of context. The translation's been poor, so I'm not fully sure, and I'm not going to make my full judgment on it. I'll let Tuchel decide.
So he did the interview in Italian.
Yeah,
there is absolutely every chance of it being taken out of context and mistranslated and stuff. But the reality is, we have Italian speakers that have translated it, and it doesn't seem good on his part. It's one of the quotes he said, now it's the right time to share my feelings. And he was talking about, all the outrage that came along with him coming to Chelsea from the Inter fans. He says, now's the right time to share my feelings. I've always said that I have Inter in my heart. I know I will return to Inter. I really hope so. I'm in love with Italy. This is the right moment to talk and let people know what really happened. So I understand he formed a very close bond to Inter, because obviously at Man United, it wasn't quite working for him. He probably went through a bit of a personal slump, and needed that Inter move to just lift him back up, and and he's probably very grateful for it. And I get that. I get that. You want to be, you want to show your great, how grateful you are to the club that saved you, basically. So I get both sides of it. There are also quotes of him saying that, Chelsea was the only club that he would have moved to. He had the opportunity to go to City. He said he had the opportunity to go to City for higher wages than he's currently on, and he turned that down. He said that, the natural progression for him after Inter would have been one of the top three clubs, which would have been Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern. So he's clearly stated now through all of this, he said that the only reason I would have ever left Inter was to join Chelsea. He said that also that he asked for a contract extension at Inter before the Chelsea offer came. Didn't come, maybe because they were in a financial crisis, whatever. I don't want to get too much into Inter. But this whole thing is sort of, I feel when you're a senior player, when you've been through football, you know how the politics of football work. He's very aware of what he's doing.
Yeah.
If Rudiger wanted to play the same game, for example, let's take it in contrast, because his contract's almost up.
Yeah.
He hasn't come out and said a word. He hasn't said that Chelsea haven't given me what I want, and he hasn't said, I have clubs interested in all that. He's done his talking on the pitch, plain and simple. And whatever you think of Rudiger, he's conducted himself in the best way possible, even last year.
Yeah.
When you remember when Lampard didn't want him at the club anymore. And he had to play Rudiger at that point because we didn't have anyone else. We didn't have better players. And what did Rudiger do? He came in, he stepped up, and he took us through a very difficult period. He could have given up point blank period in January and said, I'm off. Didn't do that. Tuchel came in, and we know what happened to Rudiger after that. I think that's how you show respect to your employers.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, you're not bigger than any club that you play for. Whether you're in Chelsea, where you're at Chelsea, or you're in the Norwegian third division, you give respect to the club that has employed you, pay your wages, given you a platform to do what you love doing. And I think Lukaku's completely sort of missed the point here, and he's completely out of touch of what is expected of him as a senior player. So I'm personally disappointed in him, because you know how I feel about him. He's he's someone that I've always wanted to, do well at Chelsea since us. This is a bit of a letdown,
Massively, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's unfortunate, the whole thing. I hope this. On the other hand, I feel like potentially this could spark a fire. It could wake the players up a bit and push them to prove themselves a bit more, to say that you're at one of Europe's elite clubs. You better start performing, or no one's going to want you. Your downward spiral will happen very quickly. We know how quickly things change in football. There are a million players ready to break through at Chelsea, and it's a matter of time before, if these things keep recurring, I feel like it's a matter of time before they get replaced, and it can change very quickly for them. So, yeah, I mean, what's your final thoughts on this whole thing?
Let's see his response on the pitch. I don't think he'll.
The best way he can respond now, is bang a hat-trick against Liverpool, bang a hat-trick against City.
Yeah.
And then who cares?
Kiss the badge again.
Yep.
That's the only way I will forgive him.
It's a very fickle game, isn't it?
Yeah. So I don't know. We could keep on talking about Lukaku, but I think that we'll just have to see how he responds to this, how Tuchel responds to this behind the closed doors.
How do you think Tuchel will respond to it? Realistically, he's said in the media today that he's disappointed by it and he'll talk to Lukaku behind the scenes. But how do you think Tuchel really feels, and what do you think Tuchel will actually do based on what you know about Tuchel?
Okay, so what I would imagine Tuchel would do would be keeping it simple, professional as possible. He wants to win. It doesn't matter about anything else. That's his primary goal, winning. And I think that if Lukaku, says,
wait. Let me interject 1 sec. Tuchel is not a win at all cost kind of guy. He's not a Mourinho or a Kante that is willing to take bullshit and continue playing players despite being disrespected. He will make changes, and we saw that last season. So he's not a win at all cost kind of guy. So what do you think of it now? Like his attitude towards it. What do you think?
I think he speaks to Lukaku. Lukaku can say either one of two things. He can say either the right thing or the wrong thing. The right thing being he's not happy. He is quite sorry about it. He's apologetic, whatever, about what has been said, and he knows that it's disrupted the whole flow of the team. The wrong thing would be they just have an argument. I think if it goes the wrong way, he leaves him out. He leaves him out until Lukaku wakes up and says, "I'm here. I should perform. I'm sorry for what I've done." But if he's apologetic, I think he will give Lukaku the chance to redeem himself. Why shouldn't he?
Yeah.
If he wants to make a point that he is here at Chelsea right now and that he is here to win, give him by all means.
It's a very tricky situation in terms of the club are looking at it from a point of Lukaku being an asset. They won't want his value to dip at any point, because in the summer, if in 6 months, if it drastically changes and Lukaku just wants to leave, we're going to end up not getting even close to the 100 million that we want, because it's a player that wants to leave. It's a player that's 29 years old. So the club won't want us to start taking harsh measures on Lukaku. That's absolute fact. That's what happened with Diego Costa when he asked to leave. That's what happened with Didier Drogba when he asked to leave. Obviously Drogba stayed on, but that's the club's perspective. From Tuchel's perspective, I don't know. I think this is a bit of a hot take, but I think Tuchel didn't want Lukaku at Chelsea. And I say that because Tuchel if you look at Tuchel's past teams, he's not had the profile of a Lukaku type player in any of his teams. That's a fact. He's had Aubameyang, he's had Mbappe, Icardi, and some part of me feels that Tuchel knew what he was doing when he was leaving Lukaku out, and he was underperforming Lukaku just before his injury. And yes, he got COVID. Yes, he had the injury. But I think the fact that Lukaku has been so vocal about this thing is the fact that he's put it out in public as well, I think it extends beyond a tactical decision. I won't say I think it does. I think it could potentially mean that it's beyond just football. You know, it's easy to have an opinion when things are this turbulent about stuff, but in one sense, it feels like last season what we did with Havertz and Werner and Mason, it was perfectly balanced. There was good chemistry. There was a bit of everything, and then we had Hakim Ziyech that was coming in and sort of could fill in. Now we've got Lukaku. He is the guy. There is no one else. He has to be the striker that we play all the time. So that power that Lukaku has, I don't think Tuchel's particularly happy with it now, especially after everything, after all this. I don't think Tuchel's happy with it, and it'll be interesting to see how he deals with this, because if he now has to play Mount, Havertz, and Werner like last season, is that our chance of a resurgence and a way to make a comeback to where we were? And in the end, will Tuchel then look like a genius? Do you get what I'm saying?
I don't know. It looks complicated to me. So
I feel like it's a character arc, like a storyline that's has many branches. But I feel like that's quite an interesting one, especially considering, that trio was dominant last season in the Champions League.
Yeah,
they were dominant. And then I remember last season what we were saying was, as good as they are in the Champions League in the cup competitions, we don't have a consistent record in goal scorer in the league, which Lukaku was. He was the perfect profile to do that. Because like we saw against Villa, we weren't creating that much that was clear cut. But as soon as you put a ball into him, and Callum and him have formed a nice chemistry. As soon as you put the ball into him, he's taking it.
That's the thing. Even if he's not the player profile that Tuchel typically has, you can put him in any team and he will make that team better.
Yeah.
That's just Lukaku, because he can do so much for that team.
Yeah.
Physically, pace, mentally, his movement as well, it's fantastic. So I don't think that it matters whether he's typically Tuchel's profile. I think he can still be used anyways.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting because I don't know if Tuchel likes that though. I mean, he uses it because maybe he has to.
I mean, it's the Premier League. I think an out-and-out striker is just given something that you.
Well, City are top of the league.
That's City. Have one. That's the team with one of the best managers in the world. If not the best manager, who's
the best manager.
Exactly. In the world, yeah. Who's able to adapt to any league and still play his style of football.
Yeah.
So I can't see any other team doing what City does.
Yeah.
So
you're saying a striker is an actual requirement in the Premier League?
With how physical it is, I don't see why not. And Lukaku is the perfect striker for the Premier League because of how strong he is.
Yeah.
And he's not slow. He's quick. He's so good at one-on-one. Like you've seen him hold off defenders.
Yeah. He's dragging every defender on the planet. Yeah.
So I don't think that it matters whether he's Tuchel's type of player or not. He's a Premier League type of player.
I make comparisons to I'd like to make a comparison between Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, in the NFL at the Patriots. For years it was a thing of, is it Belichick that's winning the Super Bowls and the amount of games that they do, or is it Brady? And for the longest time there was always that debate about who needs who. It's tough to really say because Brady won the Super Bowl last year. Belichick has brought up this is for NFL this is for NFL fans or people that know the game. It's such a similar situation in terms of Belichick wanted someone that was younger, a bit more dynamic, someone that would give up a bit more control, allow him to call a lot more of the plays. And now I look at Tuchel and Lukaku, and I feel like despite... So if any of what I'm saying, it has any substance to it in terms of Tuchel not actually fancying, Lukaku as much as we thought. At the end of the day, he has that option in the Premier League, and if he has Lukaku available, he's going to play him. So similar to the Belichick thing, I think both would be very successful without the other, and they have been. Lukaku's been successful as a striker under other managers. Tuchel's been successful as a manager with other teams and other strikers, players. So to put them together, I think the best outcome of this will have to be them in a room thrashing this out, actually coming to an actual solution to say, this is how I want to play. So Lukaku saying it, this is how I want to play. Tuchel saying, this is how I want to play. And them coming up with a plan and an idea where they compromise each other's ideas and, sort of bring their ideas together and saying to each other, look, you're not ideal for me, but I want to be successful and I'm trying to win games and I'm trying to win trophies and I want you to be at the center of it. And Lukaku's saying the same thing. I want you to be successful. I care about this club as well. So, that would be the ultimate outcome. I don't want this to spiral into something negative where they fall out. And we've seen it so many times that, Diego Costa was probably the prime example of that. We thought Costa and Kante, match made in heaven. Both are lunatics. Both want to win. Both are determined and are gritty and win at all costs sort of people. So, and we won the league that year, and then Costa left. That was it. That was the end. And that was the outcome of it. So,
but it wasn't just Costa left. Kante also left that message that just drove Costa away from the team.
I think they're very emotional people.
I don't think Tuchel is like Kante in that sense. I think he will know what to say and he'll be able to say the right thing. Compared to a Kante who's very emotional with it. I think Tuchel is very professional in that sense where he will. That's when I say that he wants to win. It's because he knows the right way to win, and it's not just about your passion. It's also about keeping a cool head when you need to. I think that's what he has. That will keep Lukaku interested in the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to bring it back to the point earlier about, how high stakes this game is and how there will always be someone to replace a player, whether it's, I'll leave Messi and Ronaldo out of it because you can't replace them. But anyone, Harry Kane, Lukaku, Lewandowski, all of these guys, there's always someone that is ready to come in and take their places.
I read a comment saying that we should swap Lukaku for Kane. Conte will be happy. Let's be honest, we would be happy.
I will not be happy. I'm not letting Lukaku go to Spurs at all, mate. I don't want anything to do with that club.
No, if he wanted an out, if he wasn't going to play.
If he wants an out, he can go back to Inter. He can go on loan to flipping New York City FC for all I care. He's not going Spurs at all. I'm not letting him. I'm not seeing him in a Spurs shirt. Not a chance. Not a chance. So that's a non-goer. I'm not even going there. But, just to bring it back to that, is that ultimately what I'm trying to say is that no player is bigger than the club. If this is what it is at its worst, then I would say that I would prefer to see Lukaku leave. Because if you're not giving your all, and if you're going to be tarnishing, and disrespecting your teammates and the people that are essentially helping you to achieve what you want to achieve, then you can leave. You're not that big, that you can't be replaced. You will be replaced, bro. Like you're not that important for us that where our entire hopes hang on you. We're the European champions, and we did it without you. Simple as that. We got rid of Lampard. It hurt, and again, Lampard is not bigger than Chelsea, unfortunately, and not unfortunately, but it's the truth. It's a fact. So if tomorrow Lukaku said he wants to leave, laters, mate. Take yourself where you want to go. Have a good life. But that's football. It's fickle. Like I said, if he bangs a hat trick in against Liverpool and City, happy days. Everyone's back to loving him. Tuchel and Lukaku back to loving each other, and things are going well. So be an interesting few weeks ahead. I'm sure we'll do a few more podcasts before the end of the month.
Hopefully, we have more players coming back.
Yeah. He talked about Gilmore.
Yeah.
But he
got abused sadly by Norwich
fans.
Yeah.
And he alluded to possibly bringing him back.
I think that'd be great.
So he said after the Liverpool game they're gonna discuss it, because if he's getting abused and he's not getting, he's getting played now, but we could actually use him now.
Yeah.
So that's another development that will be interesting to keep a watch on.
It'd be great.
Wingbacks. Before we leave, wingbacks. Where are we at? Because we've lost Chilwell for the season.
Reece
has about 6 weeks out. Where are we with wingbacks? Because we know how crucial that is.
We need both sides now, don't we? Both sides we need wingbacks. I think we'll probably start playing Azpilicueta, right wing back.
Tears.
Left wing back if we need be.
Pain. I'm in pain thinking of anyone playing for us at wing back that's available. Oh,
is it time for the Traore?
Nah, man. I don't think we're spending in excess of 30-40 million on a wing back, unfortunately. I don't know what options we have, because there's Lucas Dean, who will come if he comes on loan. He's a hefty fee. If it's a transfer, it's £20 million, which I think is reasonable for a backup left wing back who we can get Alonso out of the picture finally, and just sort of alternate between Chilwell and Dean next season. I think that's decent. 20 million is potentially get a great return for it.
Yeah.
So I think Lucas Dean is a no-brainer. And then right wing back, I mean,
we have Chelsea scouts. I'm sure they'll find
I'm in
someone
pain,
in time.
bro. I'm seeing Lamptey killing it at Brighton. I'm seeing Livramento killing it at Southampton. Reece is now obviously he's out for 6 weeks, so it's looking a bit of a frustrating situation.
You mentioned Ola Aina, haven't you?
Ola Aina, I think, would be very interesting because he can play right centre back and right wing back. He's been very decent for Fulham. I don't know if he's still at Fulham, but I know last season he was very, very good. And as a part-time player to fill in, I think he's also another no-brainer.
Tagliafico, he's available, isn't he?
Tagliafico is available, yeah, but I don't think we'll go for him. I don't think he was good 2 seasons ago. I don't think he's picked up. He's done too well since then, so I don't think he's an option. I think Digne would be a good buy for sure. Emerson, I think Leon rejected but I don't know if that means that they've rejected our chance to call him back for free, and that we can actually pay for the termination of his contract.
I'm not sure.
And bring him back, because that would be ideal.
They had an option to buy, so they probably want to keep him and then.
Oh, I didn't know they had an option to buy. Okay. Yeah. I'd love to bring him back, because I've said all along, Emerson is streets ahead of Alonso. I'm not even having a discussion about it. We have Ian Martson, who's out on loan. I don't think he'd be useful in this situation that we're in. Emerson, who's got the experience, is well connected in the club and all that. He's got the Premier League experience. For me, it's the most economically friendly option and makes the most sense. It has just overall it makes the most sense. What do you think on our wingback? What should we do for our wingback situation?
I reckon there'll be someone that we haven't heard of that we end up getting. But
do you think
ends up being good?
Do you think Pulisic at right wing back should be the option?
I think it's unfair to him to expect him to play right wing back.
But he's been shit otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that it's fair to put him at right wing back, because he will want to play in the position he wants to play.
Does it matter what he wants?
I think so. To play it does.
Well, Hudson-Odoi did it, no complaints, and he's now smashing it at left wing. I'm really enjoying watching him at left wing.
I wasn't too impressed by him last game, but
really,
yeah, I think that
he had a couple of chances he could have taken.
Exactly, I think that there's still a lot more that he needs to do. I think his confidence isn't at that peak level that it can be before I'm like, he's the guy.
He hasn't got the venom in him.
Yeah, he had maybe 2-3 seasons ago.
Yeah.
I mean, his debut season with us was insane.
Yeah.
So impressed. So, I think it's unfair to expect Pulisic to be placed in that wing back position. I think we should actually go out and get.
If we were to buy a right wing back, who would you want? Do you have any names that you?
No.
Livramento.
I don't think it's
too premature.
Yeah, I don't think that it will happen because he's just gone to Southampton because he wanted game time, and now with Reece James coming back, then what? But saying that, I think that
we have a lot of games.
I think that with Azpilicueta leaving, we'll need one anyways. And he would get a lot of game time even next season if he were to come back to Chelsea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would propose slightly left field option. Davide Zappacosta.
Back with the Zap.
I'm so done with that guy, man. I'm so done. Why did we sign him? So many players. That 17-18 window was boggling. Bakayoko, Zappacosta, Drinkwater, Ross Barkley. Like
Barkley was good money wise. 15 million for Barkley. I think that was.
I don't think we're getting 50. If we sold him tomorrow, we're not getting 15 million for him. So I don't even think it was good money wise because we paid his wages as well. Guys, I mean, we've done some stupid shit, man. Honestly,
I think it was just a risk wise. I think it made sense for Barkley at least. But anyways, yeah, just stupid. That was a bad transfer window.
Yeah. Hopefully I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Tuchel reacts to all of this because he's fallen out with his previous clubs because of certain demands that he had about players that he wanted. If he doesn't get the players that he wants this month, and I'm guessing he wants players, I can't imagine him not wanting.
He needs players. Forget wants.
Yeah, as in to compete.
Yeah.
I mean, just to compete.
I mean, if he doesn't get players, we can't expect as much from this team. The way that is right now.
Yeah.
Unless if we get a whole squad back, then
we could potentially be in a position to win 3 trophies this season. 3 trophies. Which is the Super Cup, the Club World Cup, potentially either the FA Cup or the League Cup.
Yeah.
I don't think, and top 4, I don't think that's a bad season.
No, it's not.
And then we kick on next season, win the league with ease. You know what I'm saying? Like bring back Gallagher, 15, 20 goals. It's going to go well next season. I'm a big believer in next season.
I feel like we say this every season.
It's time to bring Lampard back.
As a player?
No, as a manager.
He could fully be a player.
All Lampard needed was a good striker, and we've got that now. Tell me we wouldn't be successful with Lampard.
I still feel like he wouldn't.
He would, man.
He would.
Trust the process. All right, let's wrap it up there.
Okay.
Had enough. We got Liverpool on Sunday. That's going to go great.
When will this be posted?
Before Liverpool, tomorrow.
Okay, well, I hope you all have a Happy New Year.
Oh, yeah, Happy New Year, everyone. I hope it goes better than Chelsea's December form. Have a great 2022. Anything else you want to add to it?
No, that's all. I'm super looking forward to the game, though. I hope we thrash them. I know that it feels unlikely with the performances and stuff like that, but I just hope that there is some sort of spark and that we give ourselves a chance to get back in the race against Liverpool and City.
It would lift the mood immensely.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we need.
Yeah.
Lovely. All right. Then let's call it there. Thank you very much for listening.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Raider.